I saw Steven Colbert the other night was doing a Trump bit. I'm like,
really?
You just you
Dude,
need to Google
awful.
that. Yeah.
Did they come up with like a list of names for him?
Names for him. I'm thinking, was this taped like
Pre-tape?
6 months ago?
Right.
But no, it was like something very recent.
Yeah, it was awful.
So a month ago, they did the nicknames thing. Colbert asked viewers for new. Let me pause this. New music. Colbert asked viewers for new nicknames for Trump, and they didn't disappoint.
Yes, they did.
On April, yes.
They totally did. I'm sorry, it's so bad.
On April 17th.
Isn't he a comedian? Shouldn't he be coming up with like new stuff?
Well, that's novel.
Wow.
And yes.
What were some of the nicknames?
I don't
gosh,
know.
they
What
were
do you got
so
here? Let's see.
awful.
He who shall not be named.
Oh,
Eric's
come on.
dad. Is that it? I don't know. They don't.
Well, can I tell you that
It's all in the
Gutfeld
delivery.
is actually doing much better in the ratings than any of those hosts?
Not surprising.
What does that tell you?
He's funny.
Yeah. Or they're just sick
funny
of the
guy.
old, same old thing.
I mean, you turn on any one of the late hosts, you get the same joke.
Yeah, I went on Twitter and I looked at like Stephen Colbert actually yesterday, and then I was like, you may also like Samantha Bee.
No.
What other? All these
No.
like the same Jimmy Kimmel. I can't even think. I don't even want to think
Well, hey,
of these.
Jimmy Kimmel had on Mike Lindell. I thought that was pretty good, actually.
I don't know if it's just like, and I hate saying the liberal media, but the liberal economic order, the liberal international order was created in 1946.
I don't
it's a
think
real
that's the
organization.
same thing, though.
Well, the word liberal, this whole idea of like these people being fed this information to promote American imperialism, I think those people are, whether they realize it or not, part of it.
No, I agree with that. I think the reason why all of these late night hosts were in lockstep is that Donald Trump was a rogue. He was not in line with what the administrations of the past wanted. It's funny when you look at a lot of the wartime policies of many of the past presidents, and it was expansion, Middle East expansion. And then Trump was just rogue-like. No, we're getting out. I don't want to do it. He didn't support him. They loved him when he bombed Syria. And so what happens is all of the mainstream late night hosts are in unison. Trump is bad. There you go. So I don't know about a liberal economic order, but it was, let's get rid of this guy. I think the problem now is a lot of these people like Colbert, they were riding the ratings wave. Ragging on Trump was just making them money, and it was working. And now Trump's gone.
Do you think that if they could, would they bring him back just to make money?
So I actually went on Brian Kilmeade's show when or I don't know if it's his show, but he was hosting Primetime, and he asked me if Trump started his own social network, do you think they would try and get him banned? And I said, I don't know, but I kind of lean towards no. They want Trump on social media so they can talk about him to get ratings. Now, Trump ended up launching just a website, which is not a big social media platform, so I don't think anyone really cares. What's interesting is that Trump emails me like 5 times a day.
He loves you.
I mean, he emailed me and he's like, Tim, take a look at this photo of me golfing. It's the best. No, but he emails everybody on this list, and like I got an email and he said he was golfing, and I'm like, I don't care that you're golfing. Apparently nobody else did either. They try to write these stories, but Trump isn't the president anymore. So they might as well be writing some guy did something.
Yeah.
And who cares?
I like how Hollywood is kind of eating its own, though. I'm
Yeah.
enjoying that.
Yes.
The fact that they canceled the Golden, whatever it's called.
Golden Globes?
Golden Globes.
Yes.
They canceled it.
Yeah,
didn't
it's
know
not
that.
going to happen next year. And Ellen DeGeneres is gone.
Yes.
Oh, like her show's canceled?
Yes.
Wow.
She's out.
Did she retire? Was that her
Well, that's
decision?
what she says. She says it's just not challenging anymore, but we all know why. It's because all the stories were coming out how she was not a nice person.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, people are saying that she lied about being invited to Dakota Johnson's birthday or something. And I'm like, I got to be honest, I really don't care.
I know.
But let's just turn the show off,
Yeah. The
Bye-bye.
centralized Hollywood system is cracking and falling apart.
I'm good with that, though.
Yeah.
I used to like the Oscars way back when. I would, I would stay up. I would watch them. I thought it was funny.
Everybody did.
And now I could care less.
Yeah, the Golden Globes are gone.
They're gone.
They got canceled. They say it was hardly a foregone conclusion. The controversy has been mounting for months. The LA Times exposés in February highlighted the association's insular culture and open letter
That's woke
and
stuff.
Yeah, woke stuff.
Yeah.
I wonder if the Oscars are going to go
Bye-bye.
next.
They didn't do well this year, the Oscars.
Yeah, it was like 58%
bad.
down.
But has anybody seen any of those movies?
I don't even know what they're talking about.
Right.
No, but they're doing this diversity initiative where it's like we could bring out the actors you know and love who are in the movies you know and love, or hear me out, obscure films by non-white actors. Now, I got no issue if they want to, if they want to give awards to people who aren't white. I don't see it as being an issue in any capacity. The problem is when they make something that isn't recognizable to anybody in the country. Pulling up movies that no one's seen or heard of, I don't know who's going to want to watch that. And I'm not saying it to be disrespectful. I'm not saying it like these people should watch it. What I mean is, if you've never heard of it, why would you be interested in it now? If they'd seen the movie earlier in the year, they might want to see if it'll win the award. But then I guess people were shocked that who was supposed to win? Chadwick Boseman, I guess.
Yeah.
Was it him?
Something like that.
Yes.
And then they ended up giving it to somebody who wasn't even there.
Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, he wasn't even there. It's just a disaster. I think it's fair to say get woke, go broke. They've put so much in the basket of prioritize wokeness and activism that the product is missing.
You know, I can't look at Robert De Niro anymore because of his support for Andrew Cuomo and Billy Crystal.
Oh.
It's sad to me. I miss seeing actors that don't tell me who they voted for.
Right.
Isn't it weird though that actors who probably would never have thought twice about you are now probably sitting around their friends saying that, you Fox News employees are evil fascists or something, and it's like it's just weird to me to have watched Mark Ruffalo in all these movies for a decade.
It's hard.
Go back to the Avengers before any of this insanity, and I'm like, really cool, Hulk. Great, Mark Ruffalo and Chris Evans. Then they start screaming on Twitter, and I'm like, what is wrong with these people?
Want to change the world, just talk a lot, get involved in politics.
I did get into a little bit of a fight with Ben Stiller.
Oh.
Really?
Yes, on Twitter, because he was supporting Andrew Cuomo. And of course, this is going through this the whole time where I've been a bit of an advocate on behalf of my husband's parents. And they were doing some event for raising money. It was Ben Stiller, Whoopi Goldberg, Billy Crystal, De Niro, and they were doing this online thing where you could meet the governor through Zoom and you had to pay like $1,000 that goes to his reelection campaign. So I went on Twitter and I was like, Whoopi Goldberg, Ben Stiller, Billy Crystal, did you know that Governor Cuomo put over 9,000 COVID positive patients in nursing homes?
Woo.
You know, I did it because that's what people need to know about.
Right.
And Ben Stiller came back at me and was like, oh, Little Miss Sunshine, just because you don't like him doesn't mean, I like him. And he said something about Trump. He assumed that I was a Trump supporter. So I went back and was like, well, I just want to let you know that, my husband's parents died in nursing homes, and I feel that he was partly responsible, and you should know about this before you start raising money on behalf of, dead New Yorkers because of COVID. And he, I guess, did some research.
Wow, really?
And
wow.
afterwards, went back and said, I'm really sorry for your loss. I lost my dad earlier this year. I didn't know your story. I'm going to delete my tweet.
Wow. I'm a fan of Ben Stiller.
You know what? Me
I like
too.
I have been since the Ben Stiller show in the late 80s.
Good
early
for him.
90s.
I mean,
yeah.
And
that is
he,
artwork anyway.
even if he came back and was like, I'm sorry to hear that, but I disagree and I like Cuomo, I would have respected that as well.
absolutely. And at the beginning, it was a gut reaction. Like, you're a Trump supporter, and then doing a bit of research, realizing what my family has been through, he had empathy, and for that,
I mean,
I'm grateful.
Yeah.
in your work, are you overtly political?
Not at all. I've never been a political person.
Yeah,
ever. I always say the red and blue that I see on a map are areas of high pressure and low pressure.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
awesome.
That's how insanely tribal it is that someone tweets at you, "Hey, this bad thing happened," and the immediate assumption is that the meteorologist from Fox and Friends is clearly
All the
politically
time.
aligned and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate being in this position, but I feel like if I'm not going to talk about it, who is going to talk about it?
Yeah.
Well, the crazy thing is, they demand. It's just, I tweeted criticism of Biden. I said something like, I guess Build Back Better means crumbling infrastructure, a crippled economy, and escalating Middle Eastern conflict. And then I get all of it. Clearly, it gets a ton of retweets because conservatives are like, yeah, Biden sucks. And then I get a bunch of liberals being like, yeah, well, Donald Trump. And I'm like, yes, and Donald Trump. Continue. Now, Biden, right? No. It's the craziest thing that if I criticize Biden right now, the response is, but Trump.
Oh, yeah. Same with the Cuomo thing, too.
Right,
Every
right.
time I go on there, but Trump. I don't see you blaming Trump. Well, you know what? Trump didn't put COVID positive patients into nursing homes.
Trump needs to take responsibility for different things. He trusted too many bad people in a lot of different ways. We mentioned John Bolton being a bad choice, especially for his agenda. Trump trusted bad people. Bad things happened. It's not the same thing as what Biden is doing. By all means, if you want to criticize Trump, I'm like, yes, Donald Trump fired 59 Tomahawk missiles into Syria. We're very upset about it. Now, as for Joe Biden, because he's the president today, the problem is, you go back to the Trump administration, and I try to be fair. I supported Trump in November. I said, here's his agenda items that I thought were really good. School choice was big. I thought that was fantastic. He was talking about ending the Middle Eastern wars, and he'd actually making moves to do it. And I was pretty happy, among other things, banning critical race theory and stuff. I said, okay, I'll vote for the guy. I have no problem saying that. But I was also critical of him in a variety of ways. One, he ordered a commando raid that killed an 8-year-old American girl in, I believe it was Yemen. 59 Tomahawk missiles, mass spending. Throughout the 4 years of Trump, you have a media that's lying over and over again about Russia and other ridiculous nonsense. So if I'm going to be accurate, I'm going to be defending Trump. Whether it's about policy or otherwise, I have to be like, that's not true. But when Trump did something wrong, I'd say, yeah, well, I don't like that Trump did this. And boy, was it stupid to hire Bolton. That was like the worst thing I think he could have done. Now, what's happening is Biden is president. They're not reciprocating in terms of fairness. Biden needs to be heavily criticized. But these people who claim, a lot of these leftists who are socialists want to claim that they don't actually like Biden. They jump to attention the moment someone criticizes the guy. And it's the stupidest thing ever. Come on. We're in the middle of very high inflation. People are getting scared. And the media, Yellen comes out. There's no inflation problem. Then a week later, the New York Times. Well, inflation's a problem. Here's what we got to do about it. Joe Biden then says we're going to keep printing the unemployment checks, which Chamber of Commerce says is contributing to the unemployment problem. And then they're gone. Defending Joe Biden, who's not a leftist, who's not a socialist. And I'm like, why are you protecting this guy again? I thought you didn't like him, but he was better than Trump. Now you're actually standing up for the guy. Let's be reasonable. The buck stops with the current president. You want to blame Trump for COVID? My response was, we don't have a control group by which to judge the metrics, of Trump's responses. But I think certainly if you think Trump didn't do a good enough job, I'm willing to hear your criticisms. Okay, now Joe Biden is president. You want to talk about what's going on? Well, he's the president, so the buck stops with him. Nah, they never play that game. It's always, the economy was doing really well under Trump. What did they say? Actually, this is Obama's recovery efforts, and Trump's just riding. Now the economy is doing miserable. Well, Donald Trump. Every single time. That's exactly how it goes.
I love reasonable people.
Yes.
They're rare.
Nobody's perfect. I don't know. I think the system itself is really faulty.
And here I am enjoying this delicious citrus surge
I'm a fan.
that AOC says is racist.
You guys are surging together right now.
Yeah. What's going on over there?
I'm kidding. AOC didn't say that Surge citrus flavored soda was racist. She said the word surge was racist.
That's right. I was like, wait, Surge?
Are they a sponsor? No, they should be.
No.
I know, right?
We are not sponsored by Surge.
Okay.
I like having obscure things.
I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that you brought up RC Cola.
Yes.
I have
we
not
have
heard that name in a long time.
So when people are downstairs, like, you want anything to drink? You want a Surge or an RC Cola? People are like, oh,
You had a tab.
really? You have those?
But that's
Yes.
exciting. You brought excitement back into my life.
I wonder what other like weird 70s, 80s, and 90s products
Did you have a slushie while you were down there?
I heard about the slushy.
Yeah, slushies are good.
But
yeah, it was
Tim
off.
got a slushie
Gotta be-
machine.
Gotta be
Oh,
cleaned
it was
out.
off. Okay.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
gotta figure it out.
I was going to make an apple huckleberry.
The next time it's working,
Yeah,
I'd
come
like to
back.
be invited.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can come by anytime and we'll get the slushy machines going.
Heck yeah.
Bring the family. The kids will love it.
They
yeah.
would
Anyway,
love it.
Jokingly, we do have Surge. It's, because I think it's hilarious. But, AOC, when she said that Surge was racist, it's a perfect example of inane tribalism. I don't want to rehash an old story. I was just mentioning we had the sodas and it kind of plays into it. But she recently was talking about Israel and Gaza and then somehow said, we don't want to recognize the plight of Palestine because it would make us have to recognize the plight of the migrants on our own border.
What?
And everyone was like, what? I think it might be because she doesn't really have policy positions. Maybe it's just cliche or stereotypical for me to be like, AOC doesn't have anything going on. But I really do feel like, in this culture war and this political divide, I mentioned it a moment ago, the uninitiated and the initiated. They are people who are just Democrats, so the Democrats must win no matter what. You can criticize Cuomo for doing something horrible, but their Democrat and Team Democrat must be protected at all costs.
Sad.
You must be Team Trump. It's like, okay, I mean, look, I voted for the guy, but I don't care if you smack talk the guy. If someone comes to me and says, yeah, well, Trump did this, that, and this, I'd be like, damn, that's awful. Wow. Yeah, well, Biden, as well, he's the president now. So let me write down all the bad things about Trump. I agree. You're right. And now let's talk about Biden, right? They don't want to do it because this is the nature of politics. Just which team are you on? Mm-hmm. And of course, Fox News is Team Orange.
Well,
you're
like
wearing
I said,
orange.
That's true.
Red and blue areas of air, low pressure, high pressure.
It is fascinating that the whole network is like, well, actually, it's interesting that there's one network basically. I guess there's OAN and Newsmax, but in terms of, large viewership, all of the other outlets walk in lockstep. Fox News is the only outlet that actually has conflicting narratives or opinions.
Well, and that was the brilliance of when it was invented. It was because there wasn't anything out there to represent the views of the viewers, right? I mean, there was the CNN, but CNN back then was different. It's not the CNN that it is today.
It's very boring.
Yeah, it was like C-SPAN kind of. I always got them mixed up when I was a kid. Like they both just have video of Congress just talking.
Is that what they did back in the day?
It seemed like in the 80s that's what CNN was.
I mean, they had people on the ground and stuff, but it was very boring.
MSNBC is doing better than CNN, which is quite incredible.
Really?
What, is that not the case historically?
No, I mean, for many years, CNN was the most valuable, whatever it was called.
The most trusted name in news.
I guess. And then MSNBC was always the third, but now more than ever, they're beating, you've got somebody like a Rachel Maddow who is
nuts,
stressed. I watched video of her last night. Her
So
face was just like,
well, she was the one saying about the masks that she couldn't bear to get rid of the mask.
Yeah, she's like, I'll have to rewire my brain to not see people without a mask as a threat. I saw that and I was like, I've never viewed someone with or without a mask as a threat.
What?
I just mind my own business. I go to the store, I buy the cat food, and I come back, and then we give the food to the cat. I don't know what you're talking about, lady. It freaks me out that people think the way she does.
Yeah.
And they watch her show, so clearly they do. That's scary.
It's really scary because if people start to be afraid of each other, that's the ground up totalitarian mentality. Because then it's very easy to manipulate people to do things to each other, to your neighbor, turn your neighbor in, like in the Soviet, gulags. 2 out of 5 people were informants.
And then you have a Chris Cuomo who doesn't want to wear a mask ever, but tells people they need to wear a mask.
Or who fakes being in quarantine.
Fake quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Wow. I loved it when Ben Smith of the New York Times actually called out Cuomo. And nothing happens of it.
You know what? Very recently on social media, someone called him out on it, and they referenced a Fox News article talking about the fake quarantine. And he was like, oh, well, you shouldn't believe Fox News. And I went underneath and brought that article up by Ben Smith and said, this is not Fox News.
Right.
And there's actual proof of a guy that saw you in the Hamptons not quarantining.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.